Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm continuing my Sun Through the Houses series in Synastry. In this video I'm going to talk about what it means to have your sun falling into someone's fourth house in Synastry, or their sun falling into your fourth house in Synastry. Now this one is definitely very intense and emotional, so with the fourth house, we're getting into the realm of our deep emotions and inner world. The fourth house, directly opposite the 10th house, so opposite the midheaven, the IC, is the closest to home part of ourself. It is the innermost part of ourselves. So opposite the 10th house, the public view of ourselves and how we project our energy out into the public eye. The fourth is what we do not show, what is very internal and deep within us, rooting from childhood, even going back generations and generations. You could even say that it represents past life energy, as well as the 12th house for that. So when someone's sun, their brightest light, how they shine, their confidence and their forward energy in life, their purpose, is falling into our fourth house, they bring up some incredibly deep emotions for us. Now, depending on the nature of our childhood, in our inner world, these could be positive or negative, and probably a bit of both in general. If the person's sun is positively aspecting other planets in our chart, we can say that they give us good vibes and good feelings. If their sun is creating tense aspects in our chart, we could say that the emotions are more difficult to deal with. But regardless of even any aspects, even if the sun is unaspected in the fourth house of our chart, we are going to be feeling things intensely. So this is a huge contrast from the third house overlay. When we come into this house, this isn't a mental connection. This isn't actually that communicative. It's like the deepest inner part of ourself is being brought to light here, and this can create a telepathic bond. Now, I've said about the third house overlay that creates a telepathic bond. That is a mental telepathy. This is an emotional telepathy. So the sun person can really know the fourth house person without even really knowing them that long. They just understand them. They understand where they're coming from. They actually could have had a similar upbringing. Not in all cases, but in some cases you're going to see that the childhood or the parental influence was similar. So the parental messages for the sun person, the father, is similar to the parental messages in the father or the mother of the fourth house person. So that might not seem like a big deal, but when we have those same inner messages, we can feel like we have found someone who is a kin or a brother or someone who we can lean on in this crazy world. And that's what this overlay can create the feeling of, is that the sun person is like the shelter for the fourth house person, or the fourth house person is the shelter for the sun person. It can go both ways. Like, you could have the whole world attacking you and the whole world crumbling and falling apart. And with this overlay, you feel like you have found that person that can be your safe haven. Okay, now with difficult aspects to the sun and otherwise horrible synastry or whatever, not that there's any such thing as a horrible synastry, but you guys know what I mean, no really difficult one. The feeling could be that they are not the shelter. Maybe they're actually taking away the shelter. So it could even be the opposite. But regardless, there is a very intense familial energy brought up. But usually with good aspects, we're going to see that the sun person takes on a sort of parental role in some cases. And because of their depth and understanding and feeling like this close connection with the fourth house person, they can adopt a sort of parental role, a fatherly role, where they're helping the fourth house person and giving to them and emotionally nurturing them in some way. So this can create a very deep intimacy that goes beyond words. We don't even have to be talking, but the fourth house person is just like, yeah, the love we never had as a child or something, or if we did have it, they're resembling it. So this one can be so deep that it's almost eerie. The connection, it cannot make any sense mentally, but emotionally, the thread of love is so strong, or hate. So it's interesting, the fourth house, or even the seventh house too, that people can have such a powerful influence on us for better or worse. Now, in this case, it's usually going to be good, but you could have some type of karmic past life thing going on with the sun person. And in that case, it could be that they bring up a lot of deep wounding for you, and you have to kind of go through this whole experience. It'll work out for you, but it might not always be easy. So it's not an easy overlay. With positive other aspects and good synastry otherwise, it's just going to create a feeling of home and family. The sun person can feel like home, and the house person can feel like the fourth house person is someone they can go to for soothing and nurturing their ego. You know, when they get a blow to the ego from the outer world, like let's say at work or in another relationship, they're getting, their confidence is getting shot. They can come home to the fourth house person and be emotionally put back together again. And so the sun person can really be attached to the fourth house person for that, because they get something they can't get anywhere else. It's that deep emotional intimacy and nurturing. And then in return, they do that for the fourth house person as well. And these people can feel like there's like a tribal connection with fourth house synastry, where, like I said before, you could feel like you're fighting the world together, you're taking on the world together, and not necessarily in an outward sense, but just by that feeling of being so emotionally connected. It's like the mother hugging her son or her daughter. I have a son, so I thought of son right away, before bed, and like, giving them a kiss and saying, it's okay, the monsters aren't real. You're protected as you sleep. Like, whatever you would tell your child when you're putting them to bed, like that feeling of safety, warmth, nurturing, it's gonna be okay. That's the kind of feeling this overlay can create. And the sun person can actually, the fourth house does represent the actual physical home too. They can help the fourth house person improve their home life, make it more true to them. Like like it could even go down to physically, like the sun person is helping the house person improve their home, put stuff together, or like help them even physically acquire a home. You could have the sun person is just buying them a house. No, it's it could be, maybe in some cases, but there is definitely a feeling of the sun person is helping the fourth house person become more rooted and reparent themselves and become more secure in their home, their family, and their emotional self too. So it could be all of these things or some of these things, but these are like major themes of this overlay. So it does tend to be significant. If it's a romantic relationship or an affair, it is an emotional one. You know, this isn't likely to be a casual sort of fling. Like, this will be one you look back on and think, wow, like, I really felt a lot for that person and it was very deep. So, yeah. And it can be one that you look back at with nostalgia for sure. So, yeah, I'd love to know your experience of this overlay. Was it like this? Was it not like this? It's definitely a powerful one. It does tend to be significant. So, yeah, love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.